Hello, and welcome to tonight's free webinar. I try to do these as often as possible, and I've been feeling like on fire and really inspired to do them. So tonight I have a co-host with me. I've got my friend, my dear sister, Jacqueline Hurst, and she is someone that I get together with and we just talk and we're just like, oh my gosh, this is really what's happening. How can we serve? How can we help? Because it's like, whoa, like we're navigating it and we're using the tools that we have to navigate it. And it's like, I want to help, she wants to help, but we can't do it alone. So we're like, let's get together and do something. So here we are. We've created something. She has offerings, I have offerings. We're putting our offerings together. So you'll hear about those at the end. But tonight we just want to share so much information. First, so much love with you guys for showing up, so much love with you guys for watching the recording. And we just want to share our knowledge, our wisdom, and our experience with you. Well, we don't know everything, right? We don't even know what we're doing. But we've tried things and we're like, okay, this makes us feel better. You know, I feel better when I do this in my body, and it's important for me to be in my body. So this holds some validity. And so that's what we're here to do tonight, and to connect routine and ritual and how those two come together, how they're different, how we use them, how we implement them, and then offer you something with routine and ritual at the end. So I made a PowerPoint presentation and I will share that with you because it keeps me focused. But before we start, let's get centered. So if you are watching the recording and it is safe for you to just take a pause and allow your eyes to close, and just begin to let the buzz of the day settle. As you draw a deep breath in through your nose and slowly let it go through your mouth. Feeling a softening, an opening, a tuning in, a sense of stillness and quiet. And just take a moment to set an intention. Call to mind what you would like to bring home with you tonight. What are you here to learn? What are you here to feel? What are you here to experience tonight? And taking 2 more breaths together. Big inhale through the nose. Exhale, let it go. And 1 more like that, in through the nose. And exhale, let it go. And then when you're ready, just blink your eyes open. Welcome. Welcome. All right, so share my screen. I have a presentation for you. And because you're here, I'm going to honor that and say that if you have questions, I would love for this to be interactive. So you can raise your hand, just like show me your hand like this, and I'll invite you to unmic so you can add in a response. Because it's always good to ask questions live and in person. Now I need to go here. I need to present. All right. So tonight we are going to unlock the power of routine and ritual. And again, I'm Katelyn Saunier. This is Jacqueline Hurst. We're, like I said, we both do our own thing, but it's such an alignment of bringing people back to their soul's purpose. And I do that through digestion, teaching you how to digest life in all the ways. And Jax does that through her intuitive guidance. So that's why I was like, wow, we've got to like just like pulsate together and do something in the same container. And so I'm an intuitive guide and intuitive nutritionist. And I teach people how to feel better in their body, how to sleep better, and how to improve their sex life, also known as energy management, how to manage your energy. Because, you know, our sexual energy is the essence of our energy. Like, how do we manage that throughout the day? And I do that through Ayurveda principles and practices and teachings. And I'll let Jax introduce herself.
Hey y'all, I'm Jax. Super stoked y'all are here. I'm excited to be here as well. And just like Katelyn mentioned, thank you so much for the intro, Katelyn. I'm an intuitive guide as well. And so what that means is I use my intuition, use my connection to spirit to be able to help guide you, as I also tune into your energy to discover what may be blocking you from rediscovering your true authentic self. And so I like to say I am a intuitive guide plus a soul coach, and then of course yoga teacher. And I really do believe in the power of living an authentic soul-led life. So meaning doing the things that light your soul on fire, doing the things that make you feel fulfilled as well as nurtured and supported. And I've been working with women since the beginning of 2020, and just really been inspiring them and motivating them to rediscover their true authentic self through movement, breath, and expression. So yoga and fitness classes is a huge part of what I do, but then I also help people through guiding them through their breath and meditation, and then expression through intuitive guided journaling. That's one of my biggest ways to work with women to help them uncover maybe what's been hidden underneath. But I'm excited to be here. Glad you're here.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like, in sessions with Jax, how she can just like intuitively ask you this one question, and then you like come to this one sentence, and you're like, oh my gosh, that one sentence has been running my entire life. And you're like, okay, course correct. It's really cool. And it like came from you. Anyway, so welcome to Routine and Ritual. Katelyn and Jacqueline, also known as Kate and Jax. Together, we have learned the importance of routine and ritual and how impactful it can be for our lives. And so, individually and collaboratively, we want to teach others how to create routine and ritual so they can be more present, to be more present, to be more present with yourself, and to be more present with life in general. Like, life is just so incredible. Like, the fact that we're here, the fact that we can explore with our senses, the fact that we can feel, it's such a gift. And I think we take that for granted, you know, because of the pain and the discomfort that it can bring. So we're talking about how routine and ritual can bring ease to the human experience. It's kind of beautiful. And so we're happy you're here. But okay, so first things first. A lot of times when I'm working with clients or I'm talking to people in general, there's a huge, I don't want to say confusion, but like, what's the difference between routine and ritual? Right? And so we're going to start with that. So a routine is all about efficiency and consistency. It's like, let me just check things off and get things done. You can do them on autopilot. They don't involve much thought. It can become very pragmatic and repetitive. And so it's just a sequence of steps that you do day after day. You repeat them. And a lot of times these are things that you have always done, right? We have them. It's our steps that we do whenever we are going to brush our teeth. Like whenever you go to your bathroom to get ready for bed. It's like the steps that you always do. So your routine is like the things that you do, right? What's ritual? Ritual is about intention and meaning. And it's on focusing a deeper connection with that experience, with yourself in that experience. And so it's actions performed with intention, and they're often very, very symbolic, very ethereal. They have meaning and emotional significance to you, but maybe to no one else, right? But it brings mindfulness, and it brings meaning, and it brings purpose and sacredness and so much juiciness. Like, it is the nectar of experience. Like, the ritual is the nectar of an experience. Ayurveda would say it's the rasa. But it's intentional and it's deliberate and it focuses on the process rather than the outcome. So the ritual of like brushing your teeth, like the outcome is like, I want clean teeth. But the ritual is like, I go in and I sing a song as I'm putting my toothpaste on my toothbrush, and I'm doing a little dance as I brush my teeth. You know, it makes me think of kids. Like kids are so ritualistic, you know, they just add like joy to everything that they do. That's what rituals are about. But their rituals are, they require you to be present with what you're doing. So, I mean, a lot of rituals can also be faith-based or spiritual-based. You know, like before we start our calls, you know, dropping in with just like your breath, that's a ritual. Lighting sage or Palo Santo before, you know, like that's a ritual. So a lot of sacred practices like Ayurveda and yoga and things like that are really geared around ritualistic practices. The sacred act of getting on your yoga mat to move your body with breath is a prayer, and it's a ritual, and it's sacred. But it also can be part of your routine. Yoga can be part of your routine. So your routine is like the thing that you do. The ritual is the how you do it. Everybody does routine, but it's the way you do it. It's what's leading you to do it. It's the heart, it's the intention, right? You know, like whenever the sun goes down, the first thing that I do is I turn on my salt lamps and I light candles. And like, because that like it tells me something, and it tells me to calm down, and it tells me like it's okay to be still, right? And then I'll start lighting incense. So I start bringing in things that are making me be present. That's ritual. Cooking is ritualistic, you know? You can make anything a ritual. So what I really want to talk about now and is what's your history with routine? Like when I say routine, it can evoke a lot of different reactions with people. And so like in the past, when I would hear routine, I was just like, ooh, like why would I want to do that? I want to be able to go with the flow and like just be free and not have to wake up at a certain time and do a certain thing. And so I didn't really like the word routine until I understood a little bit better. So I want to know, like, what's your history with routine? What was it like as a child? What role did it play? How do you feel about it now? Jax, you want to tell me?
Yeah, so as a kid, I feel like the main ritual was, well, actually routine was mainly getting up, brushing my teeth, putting on my school uniform, because you know you had to wear the same specific school uniform, and then going into the kitchen, eating breakfast. Like that was an ultimate must. Like if I didn't eat breakfast in the morning before I went to school or just any time, my family would be like, "Oh, Jax didn't eat." So those were my three technically as a kid. And then as it continued to evolve and grow is when I started to add more things in there of things that I knew I liked, whether it was reading a chapter of a book or whether it was journaling and expressing my emotions or whether it was just like going to play outside really quickly and going on a walk to get access to fresh nature and fresh air.
Yeah, yeah. I hated routine. I hated it, but I thrive off
Mm.
of routine. And I learned how I thrived off of it from a very, very young age. My parents divorced when I was young, so it was like jumping like every 2 days to someone else's house. And my mom, being a single mom, like it was really hard for her to even like keep herself in routine and order. So it was like up to me to learn how to maintain a routine for myself that I could travel with from dads to moms. And so as much as I knew I hated it, like I knew I needed it. So there were certain things that I would do, whether I was at my mom's or my dad's, like it was the things that I did. And I always carried a little pillow with me. I still have that pillow. But you know, like it was part of my little like routine practice. Yeah, and so I kind of feel the same way about it now. Is like I'm so resistant to it, but I have been showed so many times that if I don't follow my routine or I'm out of routine, then I'm off my schedule. I'm not in alignment. because as natural beings, made of nature, we were supposed to be in alignment and in sync with nature, with the rising and the setting of the sun. And so I feel that in my body when I'm not.
Yeah, I feel like the days that I wake up and do my routine of everything that I've been doing consistently compared to the days that I don't do like any of that, I am like a gremlin. Straight up, I'm a gremlin. You don't want to be around me, and I'm just in a bad mood. Like, because think about it, like if you immediately wake up, get dressed, and like get going and turn your attention to giving it to somebody else, you're gonna
Yeah,
feel a little bit of resentment.
for
And
sure.
so that is why, like, even if I'm teaching a 5 a.m. class, like, I will get up extra early so I can have at least like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes to myself before I have to hold space for people.
For sure. Yeah. You definitely learn. We'll talk about the science behind it, but like, I mean, the intelligence of the body, like your body will teach you what it needs, by screaming real loud, gremlin style. But ritual, what's your relationship with rituals? I mean, as children, like we tend to be more ritualistic. So I feel like I lost that playfulness and that ritualistic nature really, really young, but being ritualistic when I would bring my Barbies with me into the bathtub, like there was a whole like ritual routine that I did with washing my Barbies. As my with my family, we prayed over meals because we're Catholic, and that's what we did. We said the "Bless us, O Lord" over all our meals. But what did you have any rituals, Jax?
Now I'm trying to think back to when I was a kid. I mean, I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate to this of how I kind of like blocked out a lot of my childhood. And I'm even reflecting back on when I was a kid, like I was always doing something, like meaning going from one sport to the next and then studying for this here and there, that I feel like I was always doing stuff, things that were like expected of me that I never actually incorporated a ritual for myself. And I fully 100% believe that is why I had anxiety basically from kindergarten all the way up until like the very beginning of my 30s. So either I don't remember or I just really didn't have any, and that's why I was an anxious kid.
Yeah, I really think it's like rituals are definitely things that are modeled. So I think if your parents didn't have rituals or, things that they did for themselves, um, then we don't know how to do that either.
Makes sense.
I remember like watching my great grandmother, and like part of her ritual was to say her nightly prayers, and she would kneel on the side of her bed and say the sign of the cross and like say her prayers, and then she'd look up and she would do like the whole thing, but she did that every night, and that was part of her ritual. I didn't see that with my parents. My parents were more, you know, inconsistent, flighty. My dad had his routines, get home from work, do what dads do. But I think rituals are definitely something that is taught. Um, yeah. That's why they're in like religions and stuff. You usually like going into the Catholic Church, you go, or any church really, like you either certain rituals that you follow, but the Catholic is very ritualistic. Like you walk in, you dip your fingers in the holy water, they do the sign of the cross, you genuflect before you get into the pew. And also like your yoga practice could be very ritualistic like that, even at home, like the act of spreading your mat out, lighting incense, saying some prayers before you actually start flowing or setting an intention. Um, but yeah. Okay, so what Ayurveda? So Ayurveda is, if you don't know what it is, I'll give you a little bit of it. Ayurveda is ancient, about 10,000 years old, and is the sister science to yoga. It uses yoga as medicine. And it translates to the science of life. So it really studies the life that's within every living being, and it studies the life that's within the seasons. And so it's a seasonal science. And so what it says about routine and ritual is, why separate them? Combine them. Put them together. Like, why do they have to be separate? You Westerners, like what? So routine and ritual are they're more than just habits. They're integral parts woven together that help you live a harmonious life. They're not separate, right? We have to have routine, but we also need to have ritual within that routine. We need to have intention, we need to have purpose, we need to have meaning behind what we're doing. Otherwise, we're just doing it. Like there's a lot of like habits and routines that we have now that really aren't serving us. We're just doing them because 5 years ago they worked, but we haven't really checked in to figure out like, is this really what I need to be doing? Or my mom always did this, so I'm going to do it too. But is that really what you need to be doing? And so using routine, you can align your daily activities with the natural cycles of the seasons, which is a ritual practice. Like changing with the seasons is a ritualistic practice. And incorporating all of these things to promote physical, mental, and spiritual growth. So combining routine and ritual, you get growth in all of these areas. You can connect with yourself on a deeper level. You maintain balance. You achieve optimal well-being. And they bring consistency. Routine and ritual brings consistency. And I mean, that's important right now, but that's important in all areas of life because we are in constant transition, constant movement, constant change. So having these three types of routines and rituals will help. So you have the daily, the seasonal, and the mental and the spiritual. So the daily is called your dinacharya. And it's basically what you do planned out throughout your day. It means the structure of the day. To be close to the day is what the word means. So this is what you do on a day-to-day basis. And it's based on the Ayurvedic clock, which is something I teach on in the Ayurvedic cleanse, because the dinacharya is a big part of the Ayurvedic cleanse. And so it's you do these ritual practices at this time, you do these ritual practices at this time, you do these ritual practices at this time. And this ritual practice means eating lunch, eating breakfast, eating dinner. This ritual practice means your oral hygiene. This ritual practice means sleeping and waking up, right? So it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just you do them at these times because this is in sync with the day. And then there's seasonal routines and rituals. And this is called your Rutacharya. And this means that every season I do something different. I change my ritual. I change my routine. I change what I eat. I switch it up. And then the mental and the spiritual. Those are the things like your journaling, your sacred movement practice, if you have one, your reading spiritual text, if you do that, your prayers, that's what the mental and the spiritual is. And so Ayurveda has routine and ritual woven into all of those things because it's mind, it's body, and it's soul. And so inside of the Ayurveda cleanse, you will experience a dinacharya. And it's a structured daily routine that's tailored to the season and tailored to the cycles that need support during that season. So it includes specific practices, different times, and ways to maintain balance in the body. So it tells you, your dinacharya tells you your waking and your sleeping times, how to take care of your oral hygiene, how to take care of your skin, how to move, the movement part, meditation and pranayama, and regular meal times. So that's part of a dinacharya. And in an Ayurvedic lifestyle, this is something that you have, that you do every day. So like waking up and sleeping with the sun, that's a really hard one for me. But I'm usually pretty good. Like 5:30, my body's waking up. I may not get out of bed till 6, but 5:30, I'm waking up. By like 9 o'clock, my body's crashing. So I follow that natural cue. I don't get coffee because I need to stay awake and do something a little bit longer. Like I let my body tell me. Oral hygiene, tongue scraping. Like I learned that from my first Ayurveda cleanse, but like tongue scraping to cleanse all the toxins off your skin, promotes fresh breath, clears the digestive system, stimulates the organs. It's a good practice. Self-massage, Also with like dry brushing and applying oil to the body. Your skin is the largest detox organ of the body, and it's also connected with the lining of your intestines. So it's important that we tend to it. Movement, like yoga, is a huge part, in your dinacharya. Ayurveda, of course, would say yoga, but if you want to do a different type of movement, like walking, Pilates, dancing, whatever, just move your body, move your fascia. Meditation and pranayama, meditation could be prayer. So go ahead and pray, listen to your higher power, breathe with your spirit, right? Regular meal times, eat 3 meals a day. Try not to snack, have your meals around the same time. Be fluid with it, just try to create a little bit of structure for yourself. Doesn't have to be like militant. But you get to experience that in the Ayurveda cleanse. Seasonal Ritracharya means just it's important to adjust your routines according to the seasons. We require different things every season. The seasons are offering us different things. There's different fruits, there's different vegetables, there's different textures. It feels different outside, like it's giving us something different, so we need to respond in a different way. But here in the West, we are conditioned to be the same and try to create consistency in that way of like, no, I'm going to drink this smoothie every day of my life because it gives me the amount of proteins that I need and it's making me poop, so I'm not going to give it up. And then eventually it's like, but now I'm not going to the bathroom and I'm constipated. I'm like, because it's winter time and you're still drinking that smoothie, but they won't give it up. But it's like, so the environment is offering you something different. So you have to show up in a different way. And that's what Ritracharya is all about. So it's seasonal routines. And that's why I love eating food seasonally, but that's also why I love cleansing my body seasonally. I always do an Ayurvedic cleanse in the fall and the spring because it just detoxes all of my channels, mind, body, and soul, and it aligns me with the season that I'm at now. Because change is hard for me. Like I go in with a lot of resistance. I'm like, it's not because I love summer. I do, but it's like, man, I don't want to like change seasons. Like I just got comfortable with this one. I don't want to change. And I'm very resistant. So like after I do the cleanses, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm not resistant to it. So it makes the transitions easier. And then the mental and the spiritual rituals and routines. So rituals and routines can help cultivate mindfulness, reduce stress, and connect with yourself on a deeper level. So some simple things that you can do is like in the morning, you can light a candle. You can sit down in front of that candle and just say a prayer. You can set an intention. You can light some incense. Like what is something that you can use your sense, bring your awareness to the senses. Rituals are usually about something that you can experience with your senses. Something beautiful. Looking at a flower. Evening rituals could be reading, turning on some light sound music. Gratitude journals are great. And then some more sacred rituals, like the ones that you use to connect with your source of higher power. Prayers, chants, songs, playing instruments, using a form of plant medicine, whatever that may be, whatever you need to connect. So that's what Ayurveda says about routine and ritual. That there's those 3 types, and that's what keeps you alignment in your mind, body, and soul. And so this is what science says about routine and ritual. Like this is why we need it. This is why we need it. It helps us create intentional habits. So there's this phenomenon called the habit loop. So it involves like a stimulation, like a cue, like the sun is rising. It triggers a routine. So like as soon as the sun rises, we instinctively have a response to what? Look at it, see it, rise with it. Like, the sun, like I want to face it. And then we have the reward. It's like it's what it brings us. So that's like the habit loop. So the cue triggers the behavior, the routine is that behavior, and then the reward reinforces the habit. So it's like for me, like whenever I started drinking lemon water, constipation is something that I struggled with whenever I started my journey. And what really sold me was the simplicity of drinking warm lemon water in the morning. And like the way my practitioner had me doing it, she's like, take the lemon. And like, just like, I mean, it took me, I don't know, like 5 minutes to prepare my lemon water, but you take the lemon, you feel it in your fingers, you look at it, you kind of think about how beautiful it is, where it came from, what made it, you smell it, then you cut it, then you smell it again, you're just like really experiencing it, then you squeeze it in your cup, you pour the hot water on top, you smell it again, and then you drink it, like really being with it. And then like so it the cue of my body like touching the lemon triggered the response of the habit of wanting to drink lemon water because of the result that I got. Like now I can prepare my lemon water and I don't even have to like drink it. My body's like, time to poop. It's amazing how that happens. So it makes me wonder, is like, is coffee really a stimulant or is it like the ritual behind it? That makes us like go to the bathroom instantly. I don't know. But anyway, it's the habit loop. Has anybody ever like done something or then it created like a really good habit and then you stopped doing it? And then you weren't getting the results anymore, but then you still didn't go back to doing it?
Melanie, I saw you nodding your head. I'm curious to what you were doing. If you feel like taking yourself off of mute.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, until she said the stop doing it part. So I've been doing like somatic practices. I'm like level 3 certified with a particular dance teacher. And so she's all about like unwinding trauma in the body. And so like I work at a desk all day. So I started doing when I would come home every day, that was my ritual. I would do my dance therapeutic somatic practices and like every day. And then like I got busy for a couple days. I missed a day and 2 days, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I feel awful, like I can't function. And so I mean, I went back to it. So I was shaking my head up until you said, and then you don't go back to it. But I did go back to it. But it really just showed like how much that routine and that habit was really helping me. And then I changed it up, and my body was like, oh wait, no, what are you doing? Like, let's go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
relate to that so much. We did a 21-day challenge was it last month or the month before that?
Sure.
And I was so against the whole warm lemon water in the morning. I was against it. And I think it's because my mom actually did that for many, many years. And I always rebelled everything my mom did. And so it wasn't until Katelyn was like, hey, this actually helps you poop. I'm like, oh, okay. So started doing it for those 21 days and continue doing it. But then there was a few days or a week where I fell off of it and I noticed a huge difference in my bowel movements. And so, yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I love whenever we can listen to the wisdom of the body and go back to the habits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That means we have the routines help you, gain control. We'll talk about that a little bit more, but you feel like you're in control, you know? Um, but anyway, decision fatigue. Have you ever experienced decision fatigue? Did you even know that was a thing? Huh. Yeah.
Yes.
Following routine will help with decision fatigue. Because it's like you don't have to think about what's going to happen. You just follow that routine. And while you're in the routine, you be present with it. Make it ritualistic, but you don't have to think about what's coming next. It's like it's just in your habit. The circadian rhythm. So that is like what happens within the 24-hour clock with our hormones connecting with the sun. So having consistent routines, especially around sleep, also eat time, but especially around sleep, helps link up your circadian rhythm with the rhythm of the earth. And so you can get that cue and that trigger with the sun. You know, you will naturally be most hungry at noon if you are following the circadian rhythm. And if you're most hungry at noon, you're eating your biggest meal at noon, which means you're in the phase of optimal digestion. Anyway, but the science also behind routine and ritual is super supportive for your mental health and for mindfulness. So it says that regular engagement in rituals like meditation or gratitude practices improve mental health by reducing symptoms of anxiety, depression, and stress, because you're signaling to the brain that things are under control, which reduces the production of stress hormones like cortisol. So like that just kind of reminded me too of like in the stress and the chaos of my life of going back from, you know, my mom's house to my dad's house, from my dad's house to my mom's house, oftentimes a grandparents' house, like having that routine for myself kept me out of my body going into a stress response. You know, so I'm like, thank you, little Kate, for following, you know, following the wisdom of yourself then and sticking with your routine, knowing that it helped you. So, practical tips and strategies. Add intention and mindfulness to your already routines, right? We already have routines. They're already in set. There's already things that we are doing effortlessly with no thought. How can you add a little bit more intention and mindfulness to them? So if you're drinking coffee, can you be present with the preparation of your coffee? Can you be with the sensations that the coffee brings you, the smell, the taste, the act of making it? Maybe you French press or do a pour over and watch that process, be with the process of the slow drip. But how can you add more intention and mindfulness to your already routine? Try incorporating the use of the five senses into something that you already are routinely doing. If you have a time in the morning or at night where you're reading, maybe light some incense or light a candle, you know, and let that be your intention of just presence. Like, I don't know what intention means. I don't know how to set them. Like, just light the candle and be like, oh, I want to feel more peace, you know, let that be your intention. Try drinking warm lemon water before eating. Try it. See if you like it, see how it makes you feel. If it's really lemony, don't use so much lemon. Just lessen up a little bit, but just try it. Try eating before your coffee and not using your coffee as your breakfast. Ayurveda says it's very dangerous, and that's something we talk about in the Ayurveda cleanse, but try eating before your coffee. Wake up and go to bed at the same times every day. Doesn't have to be early, doesn't have to be late, just try being consistent with it. See what that changes. Eat your meals at the same time every day. You know, these are a lot. So try one tomorrow and then add another one in a couple days. But these are some things that we do in the cleanse. And these are some things that'll help you stick to routine and ritual. Jax, do you have any you want to add? Practical tips and strategies?
Yeah, so I mean, a huge part of my routine and ritual is journaling. There's so many different types of journaling. I know, Katelyn, you had mentioned like a gratitude journal at the end of the night, but I got into the routine of writing at least 1 to 3 pages in my journal every single morning. Like that's like after I do all of the dry brushing and the tongue scraping and the hot lemon water and walking my dog, going outside, all the things. I'll give myself about like 10 to 30 minutes and I'll sit and write. And so there's actually a science behind of like when you start your day with clearing your head, getting everything out onto paper, it allows you to lean and go into your day with more ease and peace. And you also feel more prepped and prepared for the day too. So a lot of people avoid journaling because they're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. But there's this book called The Artist's Way. And the author of that book says, just write anything. It could be one word, it could be sentence, it could be whatever. Just get into the art and the practice of writing, because that actually allows you to connect more deeply with yourself. And that will eventually allow you to connect into your creative self. And that's a part of being the human, right? It's tapping into your creativity, tapping into what brings you joy, what brings you happiness, and what really truly lights you up. And so if you're first starting out with journaling and you're worried about like it looking pretty, go buy the ugliest notebook ever from like the dollar store and just start there. And then maybe 3 or 4 months after, then you can use your pretty journal that you've been saving up for about 3 to 5 years because you didn't want to ugly it up. A client told me about that the other day. She was like, Jax, like I literally, first time I'm using my journal because it was so pretty, I didn't want to mess it up. So but yeah, there's so many different ways. There's the brain dumping, there's gratitude journal, as Kate mentioned. There's self-guided journaling as well, which means like journal prompts. So you'll have questions where you can just go deeper and deeper. There's an art journal. There's so much more. I have a whole nother workshop based on just journaling. So if you are one that deals with a lot of stress and anxiety, aka me, that's why I had gotten into it. Journaling has become such a therapy for me. So yeah, totally recommend that.
Journaling. Anyway, just get it on paper.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's the end of the presentation. This is where, we want you to continue with us because we're like, oh my gosh, like we've got to like continue this, because it's our mission to guide you on your path to discovering your purpose. As we have been on this path using these tools, figuring this out, we're like, we just want to share it, and whenever we are in a group of people and sharing, we're also learning from them as well, So Jackson and I are getting together to create this program, and I'll let her share more a little bit about it. But it's discovering yourself through the chakras, and it's a 6-month program. And within that program, there's weekly movement and breathwork classes. There's a variety of different yoga practices with a variety of teachers, and there's bi-weekly educational and community calls. We start September 9th. And so if you enroll at any time in that 6-month container, whenever the cleanse comes on November 4th, you'll get 20% off of that. Jax, you want to tell them about this?
Yeah, so Caitlin and I are huge travelers, but we work from home a lot, and we also have our own routine. And so we wanted to connect with the other women out there who are moms, who are entrepreneurs, who work from home, who are adventurers, love to travel, and they're craving community, but they necessarily can't get to a studio, or they can't get to somewhere within a certain amount of time. And so we decided to make this program virtual. So that means is you can just roll out of bed at 6:30 in the morning, log on to the Zoom, and participate in the movement or breathwork class. And granted, we know life happens. You're not always able to make it for a 6:30 a.m. Practice Central Time if you're located in a different time zone. So we're recording it. So you'll have an on-demand where it's going to be super organized, and it'll say like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to be off on the weekends. So it's just class Monday through Friday. And we also realize like, yes, there is power in movement. There's power in breath, but there's also power in community coming together just like we are now, to be able to learn and grow and to uplift each other. And so bi-weekly, we'll be hosting excuse me,
Okay.
bi-weekly Wednesday PM classes. There we go. So 6 p.m. So one of those PM classes will be educational about the chakras. So the chakras are your energy centers, your energy wheels, and then they're all associated to a different organ or a different body or a different part of the body. And on the following Wednesday, so the 2 Wednesdays after that, we will do some guided journaling as well, based on which chakra we're focusing on that week and that month. But this is also a great time for you to speak, for you to express yourself, for you to open the chat for like what's going on in your life. Like, what do you feel like you need guidance with? And just to connect with other women who are potentially going through the same thing as you, and just make you feel less alone. So yeah, with all that being said, it's an online virtual community, and it's just designed to help you move, breathe, and express yourself alongside other women to make you feel like your most powerful and authentic self. And along the way, we found that it helps you really rediscover your purpose and to show up more confidently in that purpose.
Yeah. And within that 6 month program, because we did it for 21 days with like there was, I think there was like 21 people.
Yeah.
And like the one thing that they missed and are missing is the consistency. They want that consistency, they want that routine and that ritual back in their life. So we were like, let's bring it to them.
Yeah, like there's some women who are like, yeah, I'm still keeping up with the movement. I'm still keeping up with the other routines and rituals that we're doing. But then there's some other people that were like, I dropped off. I literally haven't worked out or moved my body since those classes. They're like, when are we restarting? And so that's honestly why Caitlin and I decided to bring it back, but on a monthly basis instead of just doing 21 days and then, oh, you're done. um, and making it a part of your everyday life. And do you have to show up for every single class? No, but all the classes on the specific day is very strategic, and so it helps you connect more deeply to your mind, your body, and your spirit, and not just focusing just on the body, or just on the mind, or just on the spirit. Because that's what I found growing up. I missed everything was disconnected from it, and it took years to uncover that. Really, I just needed to learn the tools and the ways and the wisdom of how they're all interweaved and connected.
Hmm. Yeah. Jax, you want to put the link in the chat? They want to grab it, and I'll put it in the notes for your people watching the recording. But yeah, just finding something in your life that you can bring in for routine. Taking your yoga mat out every morning whenever you wake up and just hanging out in child's pose for a little while. You know, speaking a prayer of gratitude for waking up. You know, being present with your coffee or your tea or whatever you drink in the morning, your animals, with your babes.
Yeah, and feel free to write in the chat or take yourself off of mute if y'all have any questions about this or how you feel about it. Like, does that sound exciting? Does this sound daunting? Like, give us your true, honest feedback, because we created this program with you in mind, so we would love to hear your honest feedback. First step to expressing yourself. First opportunity.
I'm clicking through the link right now, but I love the idea behind it. Um, so all the classes are at 6:30 in the morning, but the community led stuff is at in the evening.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Yeah. So it's like the routine and ritual of moving and breathing in the morning to get yourself energized for the day. And then in the evening is when you're already slowing down and you're in this comfortable space to really like soak in all this knowledge and wisdom, or just to be open and honest and communicate what's going on in your life.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really great too. Can I ask a question? And I don't know if y'all would have an answer for it. So I just like graduated from a program with a functional medicine doctor, and throughout it, part of my treatment and like this is a lifestyle change, going out in the morning sun, getting your evening sun, getting the infrared. Well, the problem is I start work at 6:30 in the morning before the sun goes up. I do have my own like portable infrared lights. Do y'all have like any suggestions for people that like wake up before the sun and like are enclosed in an entrapped building by the time the sun comes up?
Yeah, there's a lot of different products that you use, but we definitely should hook you up with Jackie Jolie, another friend of ours that talks all about light is life. Can you find a link for her and drop it in here, like her website maybe?
Yeah. Let me
'Cause she
do
would
that now.
definitely be able to make some recommendations or point you in the right direction of that.
Yeah. Because like I tried
she's
like because my work is busy and we're short staffed, so I even tried like putting my emails on my phone and trying to go outside. But sometimes like even going to the bathroom, I'm gonna get like super far behind, so it's not
Yeah.
always like easy to just go outside for 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. I
well, that also kind of like reminds me of like, okay, what do you, what minerals, vitamins do you believe or do you know that we get just from the sun? Like, are you able to spout out any?
Vitamin D.
Yeah, vitamin D. And then plus there's so much more. And again, Julie, this is like her specialty. This is what she specializes in. But then Katelyn specializes in the nutrition of it all. So it's like nourishing your body with the types of foods that maybe you can also get from the sun as well for those weeks or days that you're unable to like truly get out there. I mean, obviously there's no replacing the sun. um, but that could
And
also
there
help.
is like, like a big component that we're missing from not being able to commune with the sun. And it's like the information that comes in through the Ayurveda, the pitta energy of the eye. And that's, what causes the depletion of that source in our body is not being able to like get it on our eyes. So having some source of light on your eye would be good. But yeah, Jackie Jolie will definitely be
So
connect for
she
that.
also just started Equisol, which is a red light therapy for, it's like a jacket for pets, animals, dogs, horses, cats, all the above. And she just has that link on her
Okay.
Instagram.
Maybe just
However,
link her Instagram account.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now.
Yeah. She's got like a bunch of podcasts too.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, just send her a message and be like, Katelyn and Jax told me to reach out. I have this question. She would love to chat with you about that.
She's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. Yeah. Do you have any other questions, comments? Um, anything that I need to elaborate on from the presentation? We have a few minutes.
So like as far as the program, like you have to sign up before it starts. I think you had mentioned like if you sign up at any point.
Yep, you can sign up at any point. Of course, there's a structure to it. So we're starting, if you know the chakras, we're starting with the root, which is the first one, and then we're going to go all the way up. If you sign up before September 9th, yeah, Jax? Before the start date, September 9th, you're locked into $88 a month.
89.
89. 89. And if you sign up after that, then it's 111.
Thank you.
So you essentially save 20%. But if you're like, no, I don't want to start until like 3 months from now, and you just want to start on your solar plexus chakra and do the cleanse, that's also an option too.
Yeah.
But the intention,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. And I was
And-
also going to say,
You go. Your turn.
oh man. So after the 6 months, you can obviously decide if you want to stay on with the monthly membership, because we're just going to reset what we're working on for like the next 3 months or the next 6 months.
Yeah.
So what that means is like after that, you'll still have the $89 a month as opposed to the 111.
That was actually going to be my next question. If like after the 6 months, if y'all were going to like do it again, or does it just kind of continue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be like modules, like there's going to be a different theme, a different topic, that we're going to be focusing on, but the movement's going to stay, the format, but it may even get bigger. Like we may add more classes, we may add more times, so we're looking to grow into it, but every 6 months is going to roll over with a new program. Yeah.
Great question.
Thank you.
That's funny. I was going to say the same thing you were saying.
That's why we're both like same time. Katelyn and I are like the same person in a different body. She's a lot shorter than me. So if you meet us in person, you'll be like, this makes sense. Like I'm blonde, she's brunette. It's funny. We're opposites, but also very the same.
Yep. Yep. All right. Lisa, you're good? You have any more questions? Yeah?
Oh, my dog is going nuts outside. I'm sorry.
Thank you all for being here. And if you are watching the recording, all of these links that are shared are going to be in the notes. And if you have any questions, I'll put Jax's contact info in mine as well. You can reach out to us separately, and we'd love to chat with you. But Jax, any last words?
No, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and just drop my information in the chat too, in case y'all wanted to capture it. And, but yeah, if y'all have whoever's watching or whoever's watching the recording or live, you're welcome to just reach out if you have any specific questions. But this is Katelyn and I's purpose and mission in life. So please allow us to be in our purpose so we can help y'all gain a deeper connection with your purpose as well. Because ultimately, we just have this huge vision for healing more and more and more of the people around us. And I don't even like to really call it healing. We just like to call it creating more balance and harmony in our everyday life and creating a lifestyle that's aligned with our soul's purpose. So if this resonates with you at all, please do not hesitate to reach out if y'all have any specific questions. But other than that, thank you so much for your time. And we hope y'all have a wonderful weekend or week, and we'll catch y'all soon.
Thank y'all. Have a good night.
Thank
You're welcome.